that thinks that this is sexy is like crazy. I feel like a Christmas tree. I'm a Christmas tree.
Welcome back to Bravo Breaking News. This week on The Real Housewives of New York, the ladies headed to the Hamptons for some Hamptoning. And let's just say they brought a whole lot of baggage in every sense of the word. Sai packed for literally a month. Jenna opened up a lot about her past. And let's just say Jessel is mentioning it all, which is bringing quite the drama. We're ready to share all of our hot takes, but before we do, make sure you are subscribed so you don't miss any Bravo breaking news. I also wanted to mention that we will be officially going to BravoCon in Las Vegas this November. We hope to see you all there. If you weren't able to get tickets yet, do not worry because one-day tickets will still be going on sale this Friday, so you have another shot. Yeah, I know the ticketing was like Taylor Swift 2.0. So I know there's a lot of disappointment out there, but for those of you who were able to score tickets, we're so excited to see you there. And like Kim said, even if you can get a one-day ticket, it's worth it to go. This will be my first year, but I know Kim's been before, and I'm so excited. I am so excited too. We literally cannot wait. But let's dive into New York because we have a lot to discuss. So we start with Uba and Sai getting in the car, and they are getting ready to go to the Hamptons to stay at Aaron's house. We see Sai come out with luggage upon luggage upon luggage. She has more garment bags. You would think that there is like a campaign photo shoot for like J. Crew going on or something. She has packed for literally 30 days abroad when she's going to the Hamptons for 3 days. So it barely all fits in the car. You know, Jessel comes to join and there's not any room left for her luggage. But they all get in the car. They're on their way. Uba kind of shares, she'd maybe rather stay in a hotel, but, she's going to rough it and stay in the 6,500 square foot house. And Sai also decides to bring her own toilet paper because, again, she thinks that Aaron's 6,500 square foot house might only have single ply toilet paper. Like, I don't know. I kind of loved it, but also was like, really? These girls are entitled beyond entitled. I swear, it's like, they are the daughters of Ramona and Countess Luann a la season, early seasons when she was super snobby. But like, yeah, I think the toilet paper might have been kind of a bit, but also not. But yeah, it was wild. Like, and then we see Aaron's house, which is absolutely beautiful. And she's putting these monogram jammies in everyone's room. All the rooms are beautifully decorated. There's no fish room to speak of. I loved that when Aaron was kind of describing her Hamptons journey, she talked about how her and her husband's parents both used to Hampton not together, but they both used to Hampton when they were younger. And now I'm just obsessed with using Hamptoning as a verb. We find out that Uba is the one who doesn't eat cheese. So maybe Cheesegate was actually misunderstanding and it came down to Uba. I don't know. I'm still unclear about that, but they call Aaron from the car and Aaron says, "Oh, I have caviar." And Uba is instantly, like tongue out. And poor Aaron just cannot win. She can't serve these ladies cheese without getting hounded for it. She can't serve caviar without getting a yuck. What is she supposed to do? I mean, I just... At this point, it's like, you know what? Then just bring your own food. Bring your own food. And then she'll get in trouble for that too. Then we see Jenna roll up in this cool vintage car. And she just is the epitome of like effortlessly cool. Like I want to be Jenna Lyons because she just has this like je ne sais quoi that she is just so, in her element, in her vibe. And she definitely puts a lot of thought into her looks, but she doesn't come across as if she's trying too hard. And like, to me, that's what you want. Totally. Like I am in this, scene, I am team Jenna and Aaron. I mean, Aaron serving the caviar. Could you be any more chic, luxurious? I mean, that is a, spread that I would love to arrive to in the Hamptons. And for people to kind of stick their nose up, like caviar is like, for the elite. Like I would just not be complaining, but
to each their own. So back in the car, Jessel drops a bombshell that kind of takes the, car by storm. Sai and Uba are freaking out because she said she has not had sex since she had kids. And we learn it was like 1 year, and then we learn later it was like, it's been 2 years. And Sai and Uba freak out, as they should. It's a little worrisome, a little weird, but Jessel kind of explains that it's, she's kind of maybe a little insecure about her body since she had the kids. She's embarrassed about her C-section scar. But yeah, what did you think of the ladies' reaction in the car?
I was so mad in this moment, pretty much at all of their reactions, because in Sai especially, Sai is rubbing me wrong this entire episode. But they were just instantly like, what's wrong with you? You need to have sex with your husband or he's going to leave you. That was basically the subtext. And, well, you need to just get in there. Why don't you just put on some lingerie? And it's like, you guys are not being supportive or sympathetic to this woman at all. There's clearly something underlying going on. And instead of asking the questions, they're just like, oh my God, that's so weird. I thought it was very judgmental. And as someone who's had a kid myself, I was not ready to just jump right back into it. Your body goes through a lot of changes. She went through, 5 rounds of IVF. There's, like she said later on in the episode, there was a lot of pressured, scheduling time to have sex in order to conceive. It becomes not fun anymore at that point. And she probably just has a mental block there, let alone the physicality of it. Your body takes your hormones take a long time to readjust to get back to where you were. I want to say it took me probably about 2 years. Not that I didn't have sex for those 2 years, but it wasn't the way it used to be. And so I just felt bad for her. I really identified with Jessel in this moment. And I was so pissed because if I had told my friends and that's how they reacted, I would feel really ashamed. And I don't know, I would just be like, well, screw you guys. You don't have any, sympathy for my situation. So I don't know. That's my soapbox. But what was your take?
Yeah. So while I do agree with many of your points, I have to kind of see the other side because I almost think that that's a natural reaction to have. Kind of what? Whoa, what's going on? I don't know. I don't have kids, so I don't have that, relatability factor to this. But let's be real. If any other housewife on any other franchise said this, let's say Gina or Emily brought this up, Tamra and Heather and Shannon would all be reacting the exact same way. So I'm not going to judge Sai and Uba for reacting the way they did because I just think it's a natural reaction. And I think that any other housewife would have reacted the exact same.
That's fine. You can leave the judging to me on this one.
So all of the ladies finally arrive in the Hamptons. And, of course, it's Sai's bags. Once again, everybody's lugging them up the stairs. I mean, there's no help. There's no staff at the house. So everybody has to help Sai carry her 9,000 bags up the stairs. And honestly, I would be annoyed too. I would be like, this is overkill. This is a little much. And even Jenna's being like, I respect her. I know she's an influencer, but I just don't have the stamina to change into 5 outfits a day. And honestly, same, Jenna, same. It's a lot.
It is a lot.
Yeah. And then we have the picking of room situations. And as soon as this began, I was like, oh gosh, what are we getting ourselves into? We know how the Roni women are about picking rooms. But they seemed fine with everything. There was a little shade here and there. Jessel got the kids' room with the rainbow, which I thought was very cute and, worked quite well. But I just love the juxtaposition between new Roni and old Roni because that Sonia and Ramona would not have been just happily accepted the first room that they got.
Yeah. I mean, however, we did get Sai saying, I can't work with this closet. I'm going to need a bigger space.
But then she was like, I'm kidding, but maybe she wasn't kidding.
I think she thinks she's being funny, but it's not that funny. And so again, she's just annoying me. So I think I kind of latched onto that and I was like, get out of here. You wish you had this house. And then she's going off about the caviar on a Pringle. And I know I've seen that on Below Deck. I want to say it was Chef Rachel maybe, or Chef Adam, who served caviar on a potato chip and saying that that's kind of the new thing because like the salty texture brings it out. I don't know. I've never had caviar. But she was kind of, poo-pooing that. At least give me a blini. And I was like, you know what? It reminded me of the phrase, money talks and wealth whispers. And right now, is it money shouts and wealth whispers? I don't know. Sai is shouting, about how all of these things are not good enough for her. The toilet paper, the closet, the Pringle caviar. And meanwhile, Aaron's the one in this gorgeous, massive house in the Hamptons. Sai, I don't see you having a house in the Hamptons. Maybe you have one elsewhere, but I don't know yet. But that's where I'm at.
I'm right there with you. Sai, it's giving try hard. It's giving thirsty. Like you're doing too much. Take it down several notches, because if we're going to have this influencer, like, to the max personality, like, it's her whole entire being, I'm not here for it.
Yeah, she's doing the most in every scene. And it's like, okay, we get it. So, okay, then we get a nice scene where Jenna's talking about her mother who sadly passed away a couple weeks prior. She says that, she didn't really have the childhood that was typical. Her mom was diagnosed late in life with Asperger's. And she's like, that made a lot of sense because she wasn't really ever able to have these, connections. And she complimented Jessel's mom saying, she was so warm and welcoming. And that's kind of what I always wanted in a relationship with my mom, and I never had. And I don't know, I just thought it was really sweet. And it kind of, gave us a glimpse into why maybe Jenna is a little bit more reserved in how she behaves.
Yeah. And then that line, I thought that Aaron was kind of throwing shade at first when she was like, Jenna is sometimes cold like her mom. What did you think about when she said that? Because at first I was like, woof, like, I don't know, are there some like shady undertones? But it kind of, seems like maybe she was just, I don't know, blaming it on how she was raised and stuff like that and a little bit more understanding. But I don't know, maybe there was like some shade there.
I don't think she intended it to be shady, but I agree it was kind of something that if you're friends with someone, probably shouldn't say, or at least not use that type of word. Like maybe a little standoffish or, something like that. But cold kind of seems a little harsh. So yeah, then the ladies are complaining yet again about the food.
Poor Uba. So Uba, totally won me over this episode, even though I do not agree with her distaste of caviar. I don't agree with it whatsoever. But I do appreciate her immediate need for a sandwich and needing to go to Provisions only to arrive and for it to be closed. Like that would be such a heartbreaking moment for me too. I felt for Uba in that scene. It was tough.
Oh my God. She was like strutting down that little sidewalk, just so excited for her sandwich. And then, no, it's closed. Like, oh God, that would break my heart too.
And then we get the third gate of the season, which I'm calling Lingerie Gate. This is, where, of course, Jenna really nicely has gifts for all of the women, and they are lingerie, and everybody opens them. Sai has this really sexy, like, black lace piece. We see kind of everybody opening them. And then Jessel opens hers. And this is where drama ensues because it is an immediate no for her. She does not like the color. She does not like the lace placement. It's like a whole thing.
What did you think about it? This is the same space.
I personally thought it was hideous.
Same. I gotta say same. I was not a fan. I thought the green color made it look very cheap. It was also like you could tell it was going to be ill-fitting and large on her. So I have to say, I do agree with Jessel. However, in the moment when you're being gifted something, there's a polite way to accept the gift, even if you hate it. And Jessel just did not have any of that politeness in her.
Oh, no. And then it gets even worse when she tries it on. But we'll get to that in a second.
So then speaking of sort of Jessel's fashion choices, though, they're heading out to dinner and Jessel goes to change her bag. Oh, I want to bring this bag instead. And Jenna's like walking by and she just stops and turns and is like, no, you can't do that. No, you already have Alexander Wang on your back, on your belt. You can't carry a Balenciaga bag. And Jessel was like, oh, okay. Like, it was like she was being scolded by the master, you know, the teacher. And I would have died. Like, if Jenna Lyons had called me out on what I was wearing like that, oh my God, I probably would have melted into a puddle. But it was also amazing and it needed to be said.
It needed to be said. I mean, Jenna is so right for this. And she has a point. Jessel's in the fashion industry. What are you thinking? Like, label, 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 you know, like, and I saw a lot of talk on social media about this. Like, maybe they should give, you know, Dorit, maybe Jenna needs to read Dorit a little bit, but at least Dorit keeps it consistent. You know, if it's Louis Vuitton, it's Louis Vuitton from head to toe. You know, there's a difference between being like a label whore and like having labels all over you and like mixing labels. You know, one is they're both maybe faux pas, but in different ways.
Yeah, totally. Okay, so we get to the restaurant Hopping Rose, and I'm totally expecting everyone to be like, ew, I hate Hopping Rose. Oh, that place was disgusting. But thankfully, there was none of that, at least none that aired. And we get to the table, and Uba has to sit facing north. And I love her little quirks. I think they're so, like, funny, and she is just so stunning and gorgeous, and I just want to watch her at all times. We find out that Uba doesn't drink, and neither does Jenna, which is interesting. I don't know that we have had more than one sober housewife at a time, but they start talking about what they're going to do the next morning. You know, Erin says, okay, I'm going to have breakfast for everyone. And it's like, oh, well, I don't want to eat before I work out. No, we can't eat before we work out. No, I don't want to eat that. Well, what kind of coffee do you have? Well, I know I need this coffee. And it's just, Erin, again, is just like, this is the last, I'm sure she's thinking, this is the last fucking time I'm ever hosting you bitches again.
I mean, like, they do not hold back. Like, none of them are thinking about, oh, how can I be respectful, but still, you know, maybe get what I want. Like, maybe just I'll slip out in the morning and get my own coffee or whatever, you know?
Right.
They're not thinking that way. They are expecting Erin to have exactly what they want, when they want it, how they want it. And I don't know. I'm not here for it. I think Erin is doing a fabulous job hosting. So shout out to Erin. But of course, the conversation turns to sex, as it seems to do quite a bit in this episode. Uba shares that she can't only have sex one time. Like, when having sex, she has sex like 8 times a night, like, you know, when she's having sex. And who was it that made the comment that was like, was it Erin that was like, you know, I guess you can have sex 8 times if you're starfishing, which I thought was really funny.
Who's got the time for that? Honestly, I need sleep.
I know. Uba is like a force to be reckoned with. But this is also when Jenna shares the story about how she was outed by the New York Post. And this was really interesting and fascinating and heartbreaking at the same time to hear. So, you know, I guess we learn about her story with her husband, how she didn't know she was a lesbian. She just kind of knew she was unhappy and kind of realized it when she was like talking to her lesbian friend, and she kind of started to think about her and have feelings for her. And they were spotted out to dinner one night, not being touchy-feely at all, but basically the New York Post calls the PR team at J. Crew and wants confirmation from Jenna whether she's a lesbian. And they ask her to confirm or deny in that moment. And even though she wasn't sure, she said confirm. And that's like how she was outed. I mean, that story is absolutely insane to me and would never fly today. What did you think when you heard that?
I thought it was so unfair and so disgusting for a publication to do that. And like she said, she's like, I was only 3 weeks into this like journey, if you want to call it that. And, you know, she still didn't really know what her feelings were. And then she's put in this situation to have to, like, you know, confirm or deny. It's black and white. And I mean, she definitely was very brave in just saying, you know, well, I guess it's not worth hiding. But I just think it's anytime someone's pressured to come out, you know, before they are ready to, or like not on their own terms, is not okay. So shame on the New York Post. I did not know that was, you know, how it had gone down. but it's really gross.
Agreed.
So of course, then, then we start hearing like, okay, are you dating someone? And Jenna says, yes, she is dating someone and she's very happy, but that person does not want to be in the public eye. And Jenna, respects that. And then of course we get Sai saying, well, my husband has to be on the show. Like, why doesn't Jenna's person have to be on the show? And it's like, well, probably because she put that in her contract. I don't know. Again, Sai, you are not on my list of favorites as of yet.
Yeah.
Things could change, but.
Yeah. And although normally my MO would be like, you signed up to be on a reality show, you should show your entire life. Like, this is what we're here for. I totally understand Jenna's decision. I mean, her girlfriend hasn't been in the spotlight long before she was on Roni. It's not like she started dating this woman, on the show and she refuses to, show her. It's like, we don't know anything about this woman, however long they've been together. So I definitely think she went into it with this, stipulation, and considering her, past, I respect it.
Yeah. And so then we get into, Jessel's relationship. Of course, it's being shared that her and her husband have not had sex in a long time. She talks about her infertility journey and how she really went through everything alone. She didn't tell her mom that she was going through IVF. And I can only imagine how hard that must have been, because it does seem like they're very close. And, again, it's like, what? Just go home and have sex with your husband. It can't be that hard. I was annoyed. So then we get a trip to the bathroom, and on the way to the bathroom, we stumble into the kitchen. Uba just walks around like she owns the place and is, she wants to meet the chef. Oh, she wants to look at the pantry. Oh my God, I love this coconut cream. This is the best coconut cream ever. I'm just going to take this can. And Aaron, you can tell, is mortified and is like, you have to put that back. Oh my God. And Uba's justifying it by saying, the food here is very expensive. I can take this can of coconut cream. So Erin was thoroughly embarrassed by her friend's behavior, I think, but it was pretty funny. And she ended up, they ended up giving it back to the server. So all's well that ends well.
I just loved Uba in this moment. Like, just like Erin said, like, if Uba even drank after one sip of champagne, we would need to escort her out of this place. Like, now I understand why she's sober, because she is just such a vibrant, vivacious personality.
Yeah.
Like, naturally. And I just love it. Like, I think it comes off authentic. It doesn't come off like she's trying to like put on a show or be somebody that she's not. I think she's quirky. I think she's fun. We did get confirmation. Her and Chanel Ayan are cousins. She confirmed it on Watch What Happens Live. So that makes a lot of sense that, both of them have these kind of quirky, fun personalities. And it definitely shows. I thought Uba was the MVP of this episode, because she is just bringing some fun and lightness to the show that we so desperately need.
Oh my God. I'm going to need a spinoff show with Chanel Ayan and Uba, like, in the works immediately. These two are just TV gold, and I will watch anything that they're on.
Oh my God, agreed. So the ladies get back after dinner. The ones that drink are quite drunk. Erin's like doing handstands, like her shirt's falling off. It's fun. It's crazy. I love it. Then they go to try on the lingerie. Sai, as much as she's annoying me in this episode, looks amazing. Uba tries on her like little gold number, which isn't like the sexiest thing, but is also very chic and elegant, while Uba might like something a little bit more like skin bearing. At first she's like, like, this is kind of grandma. Like, didn't you see my body? But then she kind of warms up to it and is very nice, when she approaches Jenna in it. Then we get to Jessel. And I was wondering, the title of the episode was, Oh, Christmas Tree. And I was like, oh, is it going to be like Christmas in the Hamptons? But no. They're talking about the lingerie, because Jessel's, saying for the whole house to hear, I look like a fucking Christmas tree in this size large lingerie dress. I mean, she's like, I hate it. It's ugly. Like, I can't believe anybody would pick this out. Like, so rude, right in front of Jenna and Aaron.
Yeah, I don't know if she understand that the gift was from Jenna. Like, where is she I don't know, getting off to be this rude in front of Jenna. Like, I just can't imagine saying that to someone who gifted me something. Yes, I agree. It was ugly, but you don't have to be so rude about it. And, you know, poor Jenna is just kind of like, you can tell she's kind of shrinking into herself because I think she's embarrassed. And I don't know. You can tell this is not going to be something that just gets blown over, you know, once this night is over. This is going to be something. And we even get a sneak peek of it where they call out Jessel the next day. And, you know, Jenna says it didn't feel good the way that you were receiving this gift. And, you know, of course, Jessel's like, oh, come on. So I don't know. I think this is kind of the beginning of a little feud between those two. And it's just so funny. You never know what is going to be the impetus of housewife fights. Like, you just never know. You cannot predict this shit.
I know. I love it. And like, it's too early to tell whether this was just, you know, a one-off and Jessel, you know, maybe after talking about the sex with her husband and the insecurities, this was just kind of like an icing on the cake for her, or if this is maybe a little bit of who she really is, you know, if she's a little snobby, if she's a little stuck up, if she's, you know, maybe not considerate of people's feelings. So I'm not making a call just yet, but, you know, we're getting hints of things that maybe are, I don't know, not looking good. I do want to say how much I missed Brynn in this episode because personally, I was really looking forward to getting to know her better this episode. You know, I noticed last episode, everybody got an intro package. We saw their house, we saw their spouses, we learned about their lives, but we did not get that for Brynn last episode. Are we going to get it?
I don't know. That's a good question. And now I'm wondering if initially they had planned for Brynn to be a friend of and maybe didn't shoot as much with her in the beginning. And then either when that other woman fell out of contract, maybe they promoted her, or they just decided, oh, she's a firecracker, she'll be great. Let's keep using her more. I don't know, but you're right. We have yet to see sort of Brynn's backstory, and then she was sick this episode. So I don't know. Time will tell.
But we do know she returns next week. She arrives at the Hamptons house, and I expect nothing less than chaos. So I am so excited for next week. We will be back to cover it all, and we'll be recapping Real Housewives of Orange County this Thursday. So make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any Bravo breaking news.
Bye, everyone.